What's going on, everyone? Welcome to KO Bets. My name is Bill. Tonight we're going to review UFC Fight Night, Dern vs. Rodriguez. Going to try and keep the win streak going here. Let me just welcome people to the chat. So this takes place tomorrow. I don't know. My thoughts on the card after going through everything. Not like crazy excited about the card itself, but there's some good matchups. I like the main event. I like a couple others throughout the evening. So we'll go through. I'll share my picks, and yeah, we'll go from there. If you got any questions, feel free to leave something in the chat. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, interact with the video, leave a comment, leave your parlay picks, leave your lock-in picks of the night, whatever you want to in the chat. I love reading that stuff. So we start off the night, Steve Garcia versus Charlie Ontiveros. Let me switch screens here, get my browser page pulled up. Yeah, Steve Garcia 11-4, Charlie Ontiveros 11-7. In this fight, we've got a couple of guys that are 0-1 in the UFC. Steve Garcia had a little bit better of a showing than Charlie, who got dropped on his head by Kevin Holland. I would say Garcia definitely possesses more of a stand-up advantage in this bout. Charlie Ontiveros probably has a grappling advantage, although I don't think it's going to work out in Charlie's favor in this matchup. I'm going with Steve Garcia at minus 335 odds. Charlie Ontiveros carries underdog odds plus 260. Couple prop bets I kind of like in this is Steve Garcia via KO or decision, but that's just minus 300 odds. A little bit of an improvement. I don't think the fight's going to go the distance. I think it is possible maybe Garcia tires out and maybe there's a chance for a backdoor Ontiveros submission, but I don't really see that happening. But for the fight to not go the distance as another prop, that's minus 250. So a little bit of an improvement over Steve Garcia. But I could see it going to a decision, and Steve Garcia just winning on points. So, I think I like that KO decision prop a little better, a little safer. Lupita, next fight. Let's scroll to the next thing here. We've got Lupita Gutierrez against Silvia Juarez. Lupi, they call her. I like Lupi in this fight. She's 5-1. Silvia is she is 6-2. She carries underdog odds plus 220. Lupita carries favored odds at minus 275. Lupi, she's 0-1 in the UFC. She lost a split decision, I think, to Jessica Penne. Very good striker. Has the takedown defense improved at all? I guess we'll see in this matchups. Silvia, she steps in on short notice as a fill-in. She's replacing Sam Hughes, making her UFC debut. I'm going to go with Lupi on this one. She carries minus 275 odds. Just, I don't know if I kind of like just betting on her just because this other girl's coming in on short notice. She's obviously carrying a decent record in her own right. But, I trust the stand-up game of Lupi. So I like Gutierrez via KO or decision, minus 250 odds as a prop opportunity. Not a great one, but a little improvement, so I got to share it. We got Charlie Rosa against Damon Jackson. Charles Rosa, 14-5. Is going up against Damon Jackson, 18-4-1. What the hell is this? Oh, that's decent. That's decent. I worked the 50-50 raffle a couple weeks ago and got a little competition. So we've got Charles Rosa against Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson's the favorite at -180. Came back in big fashion in his last fight, and we got Charlie Rosa plus 155 odds. He's kind of been a win-loss, 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 win-loss fighter. He's coming off a win. I don't really buy into that mode of thinking, I guess. But, it is an interesting trend. This one's a toss-up to me. It could go either way. I think both are grapplers, so I don't give one a particularly distinct advantage over another. When it comes to the grappling game, I think Damon Jackson has demonstrated he has a gas tank. So I guess I'm going to go with Damon Jackson on the money line. What's interesting is he has 0 losses via decision, Damon Jackson. I'm probably not going to bet the money line in this fight. Maybe there's a live betting opportunity on Jackson after the first round if you like that idea of betting on the guy who's demonstrated to have the better gas tank. Maybe you bet on something inside the distance, like a submission from either guy. It's just a weird kind of setup for a fight where both are probably going to look for that submission at some point in the fight, and I don't know. Good luck trying to submit another grappling specialist. So I think it's just like a war of who's better, and I think Damon Jackson just can maybe wear the rounds a little bit better than Charles Rosa. So I would say Damon Jackson submission decision, that would be a decent prop. I didn't write that one down or look it up, but that would be a decent. I like that a little bit. In the next fight, we got Alexander Romanov against Jared Bandera. Romanov undefeated, going against Jared 12-5. Romanov carries heavy favorite odds, -675. He's 3-0 in the UFC. Bandera's plus 475 odds. He's 1-1 in the UFC. So I kind of like Romanov in this fight to just impose his physical presence on Jared Bandera, whether that's taking him to the ground for the ground and pound, pushing him up against the fence. He's undefeated. He has something that works for him, a method, and that's getting guys down. Ground and pound. His name's King Kong, and he just smashes his fists on his opponent and wins almost every time. He is a decent submission guy. Definitely like the fight to end inside the distance. It's something I find myself settling into a lot in heavyweight bouts. It's this isn't going to go the distance. But there are some opportunities, especially when there's grapplers coming together. But I just like Romanov. I guess if Bandera's surviving and Romanov looks bad, there might be a live opportunity on Bandera, after the second round, if Romanov looks real bad and isn't able to get out of there, but I think Romanov's got this. Romanov via KO or decision is -125. KO or submission is -300. So that right there, I think those are two. This KO sub is probably a little bit safer than the KO decision. Yeah, I should probably just get rid of this decision one. Just get rid of it. It's gonna end in the distance if Romanov wins. We've got Chris Gutierrez against Phillipe Colares. Chris Gutierrez minus 250. Phillipe Colares plus 200. Gutierrez, he's looked good in the UFC. He's 4-1 with a draw. Has actually on his record 2 leg kick KOs, which is pretty rare. So clearly he's got some nasty leg kicks. I mean, that's pretty rare to do that. I don't know if he's going to do it again. I wouldn't bank on that type of result in this fight, but Colares is 2-2 in the UFC. Probably has a slight grappling advantage in this bout. Although if you look, they don't have his stats updated. So yeah, can Gutierrez just keep this one standing, chop away at the legs, win this fight? I think, yeah, there's a good chance of that. So I like Gutierrez at minus 250 odds. I kind of like the decision. Like I'm seeing in my head, like Gutierrez just winning on points in this fight. So I kind of like, yes, it does go the distance for minus 190. And I like the Gutierrez decision for minus 105. In the next fight, we've got Sabina Maizo against Maria Agapova. Sabina Maizo is the favorite at minus 170. Maria Agapova plus 150. Sabina's 3-2 in the UFC. Is a decent kicker, grappler against Maria Agapova. In her last fight, she just kind of faded real quickly. So I think with the right game plan, Agapova can win this and possesses the tools to do it. I kind of wonder, like, between the two of them, who's going to be able to impose their will a little bit more. And I think that's probably Agapova early in the fight. I'm torn. I think Sabina might have like a little bit better fight IQ. But is she going to figure this out mid-fight in the fire? I don't know. I'm going to go with Agapova. Underdog plus 150. Leave it at that. No prop bets, nothing like that. Prop bet. Decision. Tim Elliott against Matthias Nikolai. Matthias comes in 14-3-1. Tim Elliott 18-11-1. Elliott's been around the UFC for a long time. I think he made his debut against like Demetrius Johnson. He's got some big names, but they're all losses. But he's got some big names on his resume. I definitely have seen Matthias' most recent UFC fight where he won, but I haven't seen, like, he's been in and out of the UFC. I didn't see too much of him prior, in his previous stint. Decent gas tank, good striker. Is he gonna... I mean, Elliott's kind of a crazy man, unorthodox, pushes the pace. It's a good fight. I don't think the fight goes the distance. That's plus 150 odds. I think one of these two is getting put away, so I really like that prop bet. I'm going to just go with Matthias Nikolai on the money line. just anticipating, his striking. Tim Elliott's going to feel it, wear it, and it's going to be too much for him to handle. I do not love, the idea of Matthias in round 3 against Tim Elliott, but we're going to go with Matthias. Randy Brown against Jared Gooden. Jared Gooden is the underdog, plus 190. Randy Brown, minus 235. Brown's been up and down thus far in the UFC, but he's demonstrated he's got a well-rounded game. He's had he had a great submission win versus Oliveira his last bout. Gooden, he's a different type of fighter. He's more of like the straight right knockout power kind of guy. I definitely view Randy Brown as being like more technical, and I think the fight goes more and more in his favor the longer it goes. I think I'm gonna go with Randy Brown. Minus 235 odds. He is the big favorite. I'm gonna go with him simply because I think he's gonna avoid getting hit with the big right hand of Jared Gooden. I like him to avoid that. I like him to win via KO or decision for minus 150. That being said, he did get a submission win in his last bout. You're just trying to think of where this fight's going to be. It's likely going to play itself out on the feet. Yeah, I would think it would play itself out on the feet, but we'll see. We'll see. And then we've got the main event. Thanks for sticking around for the show. We got Mackenzie Dern against Marina Rodriguez. This one's a tough one. It is a tough one. This one, after we're done here, I'll tell you the fights I'm most excited for. There's not many, but this is one of them I'm pretty excited for. We got Mackenzie Dern against Marina Rodriguez. Mackenzie Dern's the favorite at minus 190. Jiu-jitsu, grappling, pro. She's real good at jiu-jitsu. She could hit a submission. You can see 64% of her wins come via submission, the rest via decision. Marina Rodriguez, different fighter, Muay Thai. Will probably have a stand-up advantage in this fight. So I kind of expect her to land some good shots on Mackenzie Dern. But ultimately, I kind of expect Mackenzie Dern to just like figure it out in the fight. She hasn't been knocked out. So I kind of like this idea, even though she is a little hittable, Mackenzie Dern is relative to her output. I kind of just expect her to figure things out. Rodriguez is elite as a striker. It's really good matchmaking. But this is going to be a 5-round fight. And I just expect Mackenzie Dern to wrestle and wear the rounds a little bit better than Marina Rodriguez. I like Dern via submission or decision for minus 165 odds. So we'll go through some of these fights that I'm excited for. I'm excited for Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez. I'm more excited to see Marina Rodriguez. Real interested to see her versus an elite grappler like Dern. That's another reason why I like Dern. It's just a big step up in grappling. I'm excited for Tim Elliott versus Matthias Nikolai. Elliott's always entertaining. Romanov, excited for him. I'm interested to see how Maria Agapova comes out of the gates. And then yeah, that's about it. That's about it. So I think the subsequent week, so after this weekend, I'm pretty sure we have some dope, dope, dope fights. Let's see. Ladd versus Dumont. Yeah. After this one. Nice. Yeah, well, the point is, there's some good fights coming up. Oh, Chris Moitino's fighting again. That's cool. So, yeah, some really entertaining fights coming up in the future here. Looking forward to them. Be careful betting on these fights in particular. I did, over the weekend, I did take some time last weekend to compile, actually, just so a record of all my wins, losses, money line wins and losses. So I'm going to keep an Excel file of this rolling. Started on 6/12. Yeah, 6/12, I believe. That was Korean Zombie versus Danny Ige, and this dates back to when I was on Twitch too. So we have 87 wins, 38 losses, 5 no contests and draws. So out of a total of 125 eligible fights, we have a 69.6% win percentage. Right? Yeah. It's the perfect number. It's the perfect number. It really is. So, otherwise, today, don't really have anything going on. Might hop on some games or finish watching Squid Games. I'll definitely, by the time Monday comes around, have watched all of Squid Games. That's a pretty crazy show. And I really want to sing some of the music from it, but it could be taken the wrong way. But the music's so cool. I really enjoy. I mean, it's intense. Like, I watched it at nighttime, and it kind of gets the adrenaline going, and you're just, and then you can't fall asleep, so you're just on to the next episode. So, I mean, there was one night we watched 4 hours worth. I cut it off after 2 hours last night. I said that's enough. But I gotta finish that. We got football on Sunday. I got some stuff going on. I think might watch the fight with my buddy tomorrow. But yeah, just be careful betting on some of these fights. Again, just to let me make it clear in the recap which fights I'm most confident about. Garcia, I like. I mean, I do like him. Romanov, Gutierrez. Yeah, unfortunately, those are probably like the only fights that I'm not, that I feel like are locks. Maybe I'll throw those into a 3-fight parlay. I don't know. I kind of like that. Seems decent. And then so sometimes I sway on confidence with certain fights, but then like I'm more results oriented with my bets, so I'm betting on like the fight to go the distance or not make it the distance kind of a deal, and that's a lot of fun to do too. So just look at fight tendencies, and I think that's like a decent way of betting too. Kind of been all over the place with this episode, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. I appreciate everyone sticking around to the end, and I'll see you all on Sunday morning. I'll give my football picks, which money line, we're doing amazing, but everything else, it's rough. I think over under we're doing decent, but